The weather this winter has been brutally cold and windy, so why not stay indoors with some hearty chili? The 5th annual Chili Cook-Off is happening at Sonny's Pizza on February 23rd. Attendees will get to sample over 10 varieties of chili, all from local Georgia Avenue small businesses. RSVP for free or grab a VIP pass, which includes early entry, guaranteed chili tastings, and other perks. Again, that's the 5th annual Chili Cook-Off at Sonny's Pizza. That's in Columbia Heights on Georgia Avenue between Irving and Kenyon, and it's on February 23rd.
Today on CityCast DC. If you're feeling like the last few weeks in DC have been a lot, you are not alone. And if you're looking for community and things to distract you from, everything, you are in the right spot. From coping strategies to fun stuff to look forward to, CityCast's Kayla Cody Stemmerman and Ash Durbin have your guide for making the most of February in DC. Oh, and at the end of the episode, our sponsor, District Bridges, is here to share one more event to check out this month. Their cool chili cook-off. It's just what you need to counter the cold and wind outside. And it's free, so stay tuned for more details. Today's Tuesday, February 4th. I'm Bridget Todd, and here's what DC is talking about. Ash, Kayla, how do the both of you feel about the month of February?
It's all right. It's all right.
I'm pretty anti-February.
Pretty anti-February, yeah.
But it's part of the recipe of an enjoyable seasonal cycle in DC. So I feel like
it's like the setup to something better.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, tell me more about that. February as the setup to better times to come. That I have to say, side note, that I am probably like a lot of our listeners, I am not feeling a lot of warm fuzzies right at this particular moment. And so if you're thinking of February as a setup to better days to come, I would love to hear more.
I just feel like it's like the time when you have to kind of like lock in before spring and summer starts, like whether that's like you're like feeling like you're getting on your fitness grind or you're eating well or you're like volunteering or like it's just like a time to like really get into your own like interests and hobbies and sort of hunker down and like become your best self before the emergence of spring.
Yeah. And I feel like the fact that it does kind of objectively suck for most people makes you appreciate how pretty decent the rest of our seasons are and the fact that we get all the seasons. So it's like it's easy to say that you want fall, spring, summer, winter, but in that case, you kind of have to deal with February's. And also, like, our winter is not that bad.
It's not that bad. It's a couple months.
That's such a thoughtful perspective of, like, the sweet wouldn't be as sweet without the sour, right? Like, getting through this is, like, why when you have that first warm day in spring, it feels so good because you went through the dark, cold, bleak days that we're all currently in February. Wow, can you tell that I'm, like, feeling a little down by how I'm thinking about our current sitch?
It really does make it feel better. It's like when you, like, go jump in the ocean and then jump in the hot tub. Like, makes the hot tub.
It is quite literally like that in DC, too, because it's going to be like 95 degrees before you know it.
So are there things that you all do kind of every February to sort of help you get into that mindset that you were just talking about really locking in and sort of getting through these months?
Totally. For me, I feel like because it's kind of maybe the most busted months in DC, like people aren't doing that much. It's like inherently the least social month for me because like people don't want to go outside, whatever. So it kind of makes it easy and somewhat FOMO-less to like have a very recharging, kind of calm, get your stuff together, relax. It's kind of an excuse to like rot and
you like don't
recharge.
Feel bad about not going out or not
because there's not that much
things.
going on. So that's what I do every February.
Ironically, I kind of feel the opposite. Like, I feel like by February, I'm feeling like such bad cabin fever and I'm ready to like get out and start doing things. Because I feel like that's like more January for me. Like the holiday season is like, why bother doing anything? Because you're already just kind of rotting.
Sure. What about you, Bridget? Do you have anything you do every February, or are you more Kayla side where you're like doing stuff, or
Yeah,
you more
you
like
introverted,
my team?
extroverted in February.
It's funny. I think it's both. Like, we all met up yesterday in Mount Pleasant to do like a CityCast team dinner, which was lovely. I went to Purple Patch, which was delicious, but it's so cold. And I walked from my apartment because I live pretty close to Mount Pleasant. And just getting out, getting bundled up and taking a very short walk was, let's say, effortful. And so when
Yes.
I got to Purple Patch, it was like nice to have the, community and see you all. And like, I was like, wow, I haven't really been out a lot because it's been so cold. But like, I was sort of really aware of both worlds of, boy, it would have been nice to stay warm in my apartment and not bundle up to take this effortful walk out.
Definitely.
And it was nice to get out and like see you all.
It's one of those times when it's like the juice has to be worth the squeeze. Like if I'm
Yes.
gonna like get all bundled up and like leave my apartment in the freezing cold, like it better be fun. Like it better be worth it.
Do you ever have someone invite you to something, or like an old coworker is like, let's get coffee, and then you get bundled up and you go and you're like, dang, I got bundled up for this?
Yeah, I was like, this
What a
was not
waste.
worth it. Like get me home ASAP.
Yeah, going to a whack party in February is nightmare situation. You really got to do your research before you leave the house.
Definitely. I would say something that I do every February is try to honor Black History Month. And I was thinking about this, and I don't want to be grim. I think it's entirely possible this could be our last one, like our last official Black
Wow,
History Month.
yeah.
Who knows? And so, yeah, I think I always try to like lean into Black joy in February in some way. And I think it's especially important this year because I don't know how much longer these are going to be officially sanctioned commemorative months, to be honest with you. And so, yeah, I think it makes leaning into things like Black joy and Black resistance and Black celebration and Black history even more important, even as maybe the powers that be would like it if those things were not part of the American tradition and experience, even though they are.
Is there anything specific that you like to do, Bridget?
Well, so I'm a big like film person. I love film, and there's actually quite a few really interesting Black history, cultural events happening. Something I'm really looking forward to is the DC Black History Film Festival, which starts on February 9th at the Lincoln Theater and February 10th at the Alamo Drafthouse. It is free, and they say it's a annual celebration of Black history through a 2-day film, arts, and cultural festival. So really, really looking forward to that. There's also the Frederick Douglass and the Arts Tour on every Saturday in February on 1411 W Street Southeast. That is free, but you do have to RSVP. They say that event, like in honor of Black History Month, African Americans and the arts, you'll be joining rangers on a special tour of the artwork on the first floor of Frederick Douglass's home, Cedar Hill. So that actually looks awesome.
That's awesome, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this exhibition called Awareness Through an African American Lens at the Zenith Gallery on Iris Street Northwest, which is also free. And so that's going to be a whole celebration of Black arts happening every Saturday in February at 2 p.m. They're going to have artist talks. So I always like my expression of Black joy and history is always cultural. It's always arts. It's movies. It's theater. It's music. It's stuff like that. And I really would implore folks to celebrate with me and experience and learn with me, because I do think that, like, I don't know, something about inauguration happening and then a couple days later it being the first day of Black History Month feels especially salient to me. So I think it's really important to be like honoring and lifting up that, especially right now.
Yeah, it's such a great way to lean into like our community, and it's free. Like this is why I love DC. Like this
Yeah.
is all
Free
so
movie
easily
festival.
accessible. Yeah, that's awesome.
What about you all? Are there events that you're looking forward to this February?
I too was looking forward to some artistic style events. There's a lot of cool kind of wacky art stuff popping up this month and just in general. But one thing that I really have been meaning to get to are a class at Plant House in Alexandria. They kind of have these green-thumbed kind of with more of a twist classes. So some of them I've been looking at are like melted terrarium making classes.
Melted. How's it melted?
Yeah, it's like glassworking involved and stuff. And they have a jellyfish terrarium, which is it's not a real jellyfish, but you build a terrarium with a fake jellyfish in it. They have a boozy bonsai class. They're all starting at $25. and this is in Alexandria. And I think February is a good time to like, one, you may be depressed or feeling emotional in one way. So it's a good time to kind of lean into some artistic expression, but it's also a good time to get some greenery in your life because it's so gray and trees are dead and stuff. So to like not only get some creative expression out, but also bring home a little green plant that will make you feel better in the cold could also be nice. I'm also looking forward to this very kind of creepy show at the National Museum of Women in the Arts called Uncanny. It doesn't open until the end of the month on the 28th, but the description calls it ghostly or fantastical figures, disquieting places, and enigmatic images subvert patriarchal traditions in Uncanny, which is the show. And it really jumped out to me because like the picture that was advertising it was like a really freaky puppet show.
Whoa.
So that's like right up my
I'm
alley.
into that. I'm so into that.
It does cost $16 to get in, but I don't know. I think this, if you're into kind of wacky avant-garde art, but also this kind of has like a socio-cultural spin on it, I think it could be a really cool show. So I'm going to check that out.
The museum in general is just worth it. They also usually have one day a month, which is free to DC residents. It's usually quite popular, but if that's up your alley, then it could be worth waiting for.
I also think it's a great time to be celebrating the voices of women artists and creators. And so,
Never a time like now.
Let's do it while we still can, yeah? Kayla, what about you? What are you looking forward to this month?
Mine's like super nerdy, but it's also art related. It's called Art of the Brick. It's like a Lego art exhibition. It's in Brentwood at the Rhode Island Center, and it's basically like this art exhibition with 130 Lego sculptures. Like some are like 20 feet long. Like there's like a T-Rex that's like 3 humans put together. It's huge. And it's $24, but it does seem really cool. And my like younger self was such a Lego, like you don't even want to see, like my parents' house's basement is just like stacked full of Star Wars Legos. Like it's kind of embarrassing. So I think it'd be really fun just to see how it's all put together. It's done by one artist and it runs until the end of March. So you have plenty of time.
I was totally thinking about that one too.
I had no idea young Kayla was such a Lego aficionado.
Oh, yeah. Well, you see, I didn't have TV growing up, so I had very little entertainment, and that was one of them.
No, I went to Legoland every summer as a kid, so...
Wow,
I'm a big Lego
I would pass
head.
out there. Yeah, I've never been.
Your parents were smart enough to take you. It's like, she can't handle it.
Yeah, I can't handle it.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
Well, other than not bringing young Kayla to Legoland because it would be way too much of an excitable situation for her, are there other smart tips that folks should know about this month, February?
For me, it kind of goes back to my thing I do every February where I'm like recharging and stuff. I'm planning ahead so that I can have an enjoyable spring. So not only is that planning my outings, like this year, in spring, I want to go to the Dolly Sods Wilderness in West Virginia.
Oh, I love it there.
I've never been, and I just saw it on Instagram recently, and I was like, I really want to go there. So kind of getting that plan in place so there's no excuse when the weather's nice to just like make it happen. That also means, for me, it's like doing all the stuff that you don't want to be doing when it's nicer out. So like getting my taxes done. Like going to the dentist, going to the doctor, honestly, like picking up a couple extra shifts, whatever you got to do, like get a little extra money so that you can have a fun summer and spring. I think just like for someone like me who's like having a calm February and isn't a huge February guy, it's like take this time to do all the stuff that you don't want to be doing when you're in your prime in the spring and summer, you know?
Yeah, mine relates to that because it is something that I've been putting off and is kind of super annoying, but you have to do it. Basically, like you have to have a real ID in DC starting on May 7th, and it takes like a while to get. Like the process can take a while. So if you don't have it yet, I really recommend starting the process. Basically, if you look at your license, if there's not like a star in the upper right corner, then you need to go get a new ID. And you basically will have to go in person probably. And it's a whole process. It's kind of complicated and it's really annoying to look up online. Luckily, we do have an article on this exact topic on our site that makes it super easy. I basically spent like hours kind of compiling exactly what you need to do so that you don't have to do that. But yeah, do it now because it's coming up. And again, you're not going to want to do it like in the spring. So just go get it done.
What happens if you don't?
Basically, you can't like board a plane.
Oh.
Or like transportation. Yeah. Well, or if you have a passport, you can, right? But like you need, if you want to travel just with your license.
Okay. That's real. And we'll have a link to Kayla's guide to getting your real ID in the show notes.
Well, my tip is also sort of like logistics planning ahead related. I know that we're going to have a lot more content about Valentine's Day coming up, but one thing I wanted to point out to folks is that Valentine's Day falls on a Friday this year, which is something to note. You know, you might be the kind of person who wants to go to dinner or that kind of thing. But I say this to say that for the price of dinner, if you start looking now, you might be able to find a nearby cute Airbnb or a cute little getaway. And for like literally, if you do a little bit of searching and digging, you can find a place for the weekend for what you would spend on like a nice dinner out. And so give that some thought, but look into it now because if you look the day before Valentine's Day, it's probably too late. But if you look now, you can find some deals. And yeah, go to the grocery store, get a steak, grill it in a cute cabin somewhere. That might be a cozy way to spend the holiday with your sweetheart.
Okay, Bridget, nice. Ash and I are single. Like, okay, that sounds nice.
Dude, I'm taking one of my boys to it's a Valentine's Day, so I'm getting that special one way or another.
Absolutely.
Dude.
But if you do want to do dinner though, it's also you got to book early. So, Bridget, good suggestion one way or the other.
And Ash, there's no reason why Valentine's Day cannot be a celebration of platonic bro love.
Oh my
right?
God.
Like,
yes, that's what we're doing.
Grill your bro a steak and tell him that you love him in a platonic way. That's also love.
I have seen a lot more like
day.
Valentine's Day events and like friend Valentine's Day events popping up this year. So I'm excited to kind of start putting those together as well.
Do you do Valentine's Day?
Not in any official capacity, no. It sounds a little bit lame, doesn't it? But I think it is a good time to like hang out with your friends and like make sure that you're like getting that connection, getting those hugs in, you know, whatever you want to do.
So February doesn't have to be so bad. You can spend it celebrating with your friends, getting your mind right for the time to come, you know? Yeah, we're going to get through this.
Oh, yeah.
We got it.
Well, Kayla, Ash, thanks so much for being here. We're going to get through this together.
Thanks, Bridget.
Later, Bridget.
And listeners, don't go anywhere. All that February planning was bound to make you hungry. And our sponsor, District Bridges, has the perfect event to satisfy that craving. We've got the when, where, and how of their annual chili cook-off right here.
Hey, I'm Senior Executive Producer Priyanka Telve here with Shelly Walker. She's with District Bridges as their Main Street Manager for Lower Georgia Avenue. Shelly, thank you so much for being here today.
Nice to see you too. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah, of course. So I'm so excited to talk about this chili cook-off. What is the Lower Georgia Avenue chili cook-off?
It's an amazing event that we actually brought back last year after COVID. So this year will be our 5th annual version of this. We like to incorporate small businesses along the corridor as much as possible. So it was kind of birthed from engaging and inviting the community out and the business owners out to cook chili and serve it to the community. It kind of turned into a contest where the residents and the folks who attended can vote on their favorite one. Last year, it got really big, bigger than we anticipated. where we hosted at Midlands. And so this year we decided to switch the venue so we can drive more traffic into another small business along the corridor, but to bring the cook-off back. So we'll still have the Lower Georgia Avenue small business owners involved, and they'll be cooking up chili again this year to serve to the residents, to kind of fight it out for people's choice and first, second, third place.
I love that. I personally am a huge fan of chili, but I got to ask, why that dish? How did this become all about chili?
Chili kind of represents like a warm dish. It represents a dish that folks can kind of, I like to say, you eat it on the couch. It brings warm feelings to you. And I think it could be served as a community dish. When you make chili, you can make a lot of it, and you can serve it to a lot of folks. So I think that that's the beauty in serving chili, as well as we have so many different businesses along the corridor. And last year, I just thought it was so nice to taste different variations of chili. We had business owners who, actually the business that won, they serve ice cream. But they went home and thought of this 3-meat chili. We had vegan chili. We had a curry chili. So the variations and the twist that the businesses take on the chili also is kind of, it's a nice thing to experience as well.
Yeah, that sounds fabulous. And you're right. It is a warm dish during this cold streak that we're dealing with.
Very cold.
There's nothing more inviting than a warm bowl of chili. Other than that, of course, why should folks come out this year? Is there anything special happening?
We always want folks to come out to venture along the corridor, especially during this time that small businesses are kind of struggling, still in that post-pandemic world. So always want to invite our neighbors to come out to support. This year, we did up the antes a little bit, and we do have a VIP ticket that's available for sale. It's $25, and that gets you early entry to the chili cook-off this year. It gets you first seating options, and you also get a Sunny's welcome drink. That's where the chili cook-off will be hosted at this year, as well as a cute little chili enamel pin, and then you get to enter into a raffle. But I think in this cold, cold winter as well, and the event is still free, we put that out there. It's great to just be around community like-minded members, and that's why we encourage folks to come out this year.
Sounds so fun. How can people get involved with Lower Georgia Avenue Main Street generally if they want to?
I always tell folks to sign up for our newsletter. We send them out all the time. Follow us on social media. We have a large presence on Instagram and Facebook as well. Come to one of our events. We host many events throughout the year. We're always promoting them somehow. The beauty with working at District Bridges is that we can kind of promote our events as well. So if you live in Columbia Heights, just a couple blocks up, you can always pop over to Georgia Avenue to come to our event as well. So many different social media avenues that folks can learn more about us at.
Yeah, and I guess the chili cook-off is a great place to start. So can you just remind me exactly when and where that's happening?
Our chili cook-off would be February 23rd this year at Sunny's Pizzeria in the No Kisses bar area, and it would be from 2 to 5 p.m. Once again, if you buy that VIP ticket, you will get early entry starting at 2.
Amazing. Shelly, thank you so much for being here. Again, check out districtbridges.org to learn more, or any of the various social media accounts Shelly just mentioned. We'll have those links for you in our show notes as well, so you're just a click away. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, text it to your friend who's got the winter blues. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Talk to you then.